Since the first report surfaced, I've followed every verified update, every statement from the Pima County Sheriff's Office, every confirmed detail carried by national outlets like CNN, NBC, ABC News, BBC, Fox News, and the Associated Press, alongside local Tucson stations. Now, as Sunday evening, February 8th, 2026 settles over the desert, this case has stretched into its eighth agonizing day. What began as worry has hardened into a heavy, collective anxiety. At the center is one chilling fact that refuses to fade. Nancy Guthrie, 84 years old, physically fragile, but described as mentally sharp, vanished in the early hours of February 1st, without the daily medications that sustain her life. There has been no confirmed proof she is alive, no verified communication directly from her. With every passing hour, the medical risks grow more serious. More than a headline. Nancy was never just a name scrolling across a screen. She was the emotional anchor of a close-knit family and a beloved presence in her neighborhood. After losing her husband to a sudden heart attack decades ago, she rebuilt her life while raising 3 children with resilience and faith. Friends describe her as warm, quick-witted, and deeply devoted to her church community. She lived quietly in the Catalina foothills of Tucson, where wide desert views and towering saguaro cacti create a sense of calm isolation. It's the kind of place where neighbors wave from a distance and doors are often left unlocked. That sense of safety shattered overnight. Nancy relied on a walker and managed chronic heart disease with a pacemaker and strict medication routines. Missing even a short period of treatment, doctors have emphasized, could trigger severe complications. From the beginning, investigators understood that time itself was the greatest threat. The night everything changed. Saturday, January 31st, began like any other. Family members shared dinner with Nancy before returning her home between 9:30 and 9:45 p.m. She entered through the garage using her walker, and the door closed around 9:50 p.m. According to sheriff briefings, nothing appeared unusual. Her phone showed no outgoing calls or texts. The pacemaker monitoring system continued transmitting data as expected. Then, sometime between approximately 1:45 a.m. and 2:30 a.m. on Sunday, February 1st, the signal abruptly stopped. That narrow window, less than an hour, became the focal point of the investigation. By Sunday morning, concern grew when Nancy failed to attend church, something loved ones say she never missed. Calls went unanswered. By noon, relatives entered the home and found it empty. What deputies encountered next shifted everything from worry to crisis. A crime scene in the desert, responding officers quickly realized this was no routine welfare check. Signs of forced entry were documented, along with small amounts of blood inside the home and reportedly near the porch area. Authorities later confirmed the DNA matched Nancy's, reinforcing fears that she had been taken against her will. The residence was declared a crime scene. Sheriff Chris Nanos publicly stated investigators believed an abduction had occurred, prompting immediate involvement from homicide detectives and soon the FBI. That level of response signaled the gravity of the situation. The quiet foothills neighborhood transformed into an active investigation zone. Patrol cars lined the street. Crime scene tape fluttered against desert wind. Neighbors stood outside in stunned silence. The reality was settling in. This was not an accident, not confusion, not wandering. Something deliberate had happened. The search intensifies. By Monday, February 2nd, large-scale search operations were underway across the rugged terrain surrounding the Catalina foothills. Ground teams combed desert washes and rocky trails. Helicopters circled overhead. Drones scanned arroyos and remote stretches of land. Volunteers joined law enforcement in canvassing neighborhoods, reviewing doorbell footage, and checking traffic camera data. License plate readers were analyzed for unusual patterns. Yet despite these coordinated efforts, no clear suspect vehicle or escape route emerged. Evidence strongly indicated Nancy had not left voluntarily. Meanwhile, medical experts publicly warned that without consistent medication, hydration, and monitoring, serious decline could begin within 24 to 48 hours. Each day without progress deepened the urgency. The search was no longer just about location. It was about survival, ransom messages, and rising fear. On Tuesday, February 3rd, the case took a darker turn. Multiple media outlets reported receiving ransom communications claiming responsibility for Nancy's disappearance. The messages demanded millions of dollars in Bitcoin and included details about her clothing and home interior that had not been publicly released. Authorities confirmed the FBI was analyzing the communications, but did not verify authenticity. Whether the messages were genuine or the work of opportunists exploiting national attention remained unclear. Still, every lead was treated with seriousness. Cybercrime specialists began tracing digital pathways, examining blockchain transactions, and studying linguistic patterns. The emotional toll intensified. A missing persons case had potentially evolved into a hostage situation. And with that shift came new layers of complexity, fear, and strategic caution. A family's public plea. On February 4th, Nancy's children released an emotional video appeal. Sitting close together, visibly exhausted, yet composed, they thanked the public for support and addressed whoever might be responsible. Their message was simple: please provide proof she is alive. They expressed willingness to listen if contact was made. The video spread rapidly across platforms and networks, amplifying global attention. Vigils formed across Tucson, candles flickering under desert skies. Community members gathered not only to pray, but to feel less helpless. By February 7th, the family released a second statement acknowledging receipt of a message and declaring they were willing to pay for Nancy's safe return. That announcement marked a turning point, shifting the psychological terrain from search operations to potential negotiation. Hope and fear became inseparable, the machinery of investigation. Throughout February 8th, operations continued without pause. Deputies, FBI agents, K-9 units, and drones expanded search zones far beyond the initial perimeter. Recognizing the possibility, Nancy had been transported elsewhere. Behavioral analysts studied ransom wording for psychological clues. Cyber units traced encrypted routes connected to digital demands. Negotiation teams remained on standby around the clock. Hundreds of tips poured in daily, most inconclusive but none ignored. Medical experts continued emphasizing the urgency of consistent care. Each hour carried weight. Was Nancy still nearby? Had she been moved across state lines? Were there multiple individuals involved? The investigation had grown into a coordinated network of local and federal resources working in relentless shifts. Behind every press conference stood teams who would not stop searching. Questions without answers. As this 8th day closes, uncertainty remains the loudest presence. There is still no verified proof of life, no confirmed suspect in custody, no clear explanation for how an elderly woman could be removed from a quiet home without immediate detection. The community waits for answers that feel just out of reach. The Guthrie family continues urging privacy while expressing gratitude for support. In moments like this, speculation can spread quickly, but officials have repeatedly asked for patience and reliance on verified updates. At its heart, this is not about headlines or theories. It is about an 84-year-old woman whose health depends on immediate care and whose family is living through unimaginable fear. Tonight, Tucson holds its breath, hoping tomorrow brings clarity and, above all, Nancy home safely.